storyline-wise, maybe the game of the week. Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys. Sunday night football. Packers favored by 6.5 in Dallas. Micah Parsons returns to Dallas.
There's got to be nobody outside of Dallas is wanting anything more than Micah Parsons to have like 3 sacks, 4 sacks, 8 sacks in this game. Like the more sacks he can get, the funnier this becomes, right?
You're a big what's the funniest thing possible guy.
Yes. The funniest thing that can happen in this game is Micah Parsons breaks Derek Thomas's sack record in a single game.
What if, on the other hand...
Like if he just lines up opposite Tyler Guyton every single play and just...
That would be funny, actually. What if Kenny Clark has 3 sacks and Micah Parsons gets shut out?
See, I don't think that would be funny because...
you don't think any part of a Jerry Jones...
Jerry being right's not funny.
Jerry being right's not funny at all? No justification from Jerry Jones is funny?
It would be funny
because everybody's against him.
No,
everybody's like, "Oh, you're just a stupid old man."
Jerry being right isn't funny. Jerry looking like he's right and then like taking comedy victory laps might be funny.
Oh yeah, think about that. That's why we got Kenny Clark. We thought we got the better pass rusher in the deal.
That would be funny. Just Jerry being right wouldn't be funny. Like Jerry being wrong is a lot funnier than Jerry being right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Cowboys' offensive line, I think they've survived. I think Dak's played really well under pressure. Dak's played well overall. But now no CD Lamb either. And, yeah, the way this Packers defense is playing, I know it's a bitter taste in Packers fans' mouth after, blowing a 10-point lead. That wasn't the defense's fault, though. That was Jordan Love throwing a bad interception and, giving a short field. The Packers' defense has been outstanding. I mean, they're right up there with the Browns these first 3 weeks. Micah Parsons has clearly been an outstanding addition for that defense for Green Bay.
Yes.
So I'm not worried about that side of the ball. And then from a Dallas perspective, I do feel like they've been surviving. I think they've run the ball a little bit better than expected, and they've gotten the ball down the field at a decent rate given what their offensive line has looked like. I think that's going to be really tough to sustain here without CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. I mean, Dallas's offense is now clinging on with only a couple of sort of very good players trying to make it work. Now they're going up against Green Bay's defense, which generally speaking has been pretty phenomenal this year. Rashawn Gary was a monster last week. Micah Parsons is a monster every week. They've got guys like Edgerrin Cooper in the middle is incredibly good at linebacker, and they've been aggressive on the back end because of the pass rush they've got up front. And now that Dallas is kind of limited to Dak making plays and just George Pickens, who's not like a separation monster, you would favor Green Bay's defense definitely making that really difficult for Dallas, which takes you to the other side of the ball. And you're like, Dallas's defense has been one of the worst in the NFL through a few weeks. Only Miami has a worse EPA per play than the Dallas defense. They're giving up 9 yards per pass.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed. So let's change that. Hit that subscribe button. And now let's get back to the action.
That's
crazy,
insane,
and it's both ends of it, right? Like it's not.
Yeah, they're not getting much pass rush, and they can't cover on the back end.
And a week after the Packers' offensive line got absolutely
that's
wrecked.
More than a yard, by the way, more than anybody else.
Yeah,
like Miami's defense, who remember they had a secondary, none of whom you've heard of, going into the season, and then half of them got hurt.
You know what?
They're giving up more than a yard less per pass than the Dallas Cowboys.
The funny thing there is last year at this time, I was pulling out these awful stats about Dallas's run defense.
Right.
Where their run defense
now they
was
fixed
like
that with Kenny Clark.
Well, it's like the run defense last year through 6 or 7 weeks was about the 5th worst pass defense. Like that's how bad it was. That's how easy it was to run on Dallas early last season. This year from a pass game perspective, just for a context, the guy that just got benched in New York, Russell Wilson, who had 2 awful games, threw for 450 and brought you to overtime. And so that's how bad Dallas's pass coverage is,
right?
Both on the back end and from a pass rush perspective.
The good news is, in terms of EPA per rush, they're now 10th in the NFL, but it's come at the cost of being the worst pass defense in football by a mile.
Those are the trade-offs that Jerry makes.
And by the way, that's with having invested a ton of money into multiple corners in that group as well, right? Like they've just thrown money at the secondary, and they're still the worst pass defense in the NFL.
Deron Bland's banged up but expected to play, trending toward playing with a foot injury.
So now, I mean, you look at some of the big plays they've given up, and you have to be saying, well, is this a Matthew Golden day, right? Is this like a monster Matthew Golden performance from Green Bay? You know, can Jordan Love avoid a costly mistake that he had last week? I mean, if he is, it's tough to see how this Dallas defense is really going to slow down Green Bay.
Some stats where Matthew Golden could come into play here. Jaden Reed, who's injured for Green Bay, he's usually their motion at the snap guy, jet sweeps and all sorts of trickeration.
And the on-off splits for him in the last couple of years are pretty crazy.
Yeah, and this is similar, right? This is when he's just used in motion. They're over 5 yards per play. They're at 4 yards per play without Reed in motion, and 9.7 yards per play with Reed in motion on passes. 7.6 without. Reed was the NFL's second most motioned player last year. Now, last week, Golden was used more in that role, and I think he could play that role with his speed and his athleticism. But yeah, Reed has been not only productive but also opening up the entire offense when he's been out there. So just keep an eye on Golden as the motion player in this one. Just it chips away a little bit at their depth here.
And it is kind of funny because in training camp, you see them doing that with a lot of other players. Doing all the like Golden was doing that a ton in training camp this year. In his rookie year, Luke Musgrave was doing that, and it always ends up being Jaden Reed that's doing it in the actual games.
And then look, I think honestly, if Jordan Love just doesn't make a bad decision, Packers are 3-0.
Yeah,
if he doesn't throw a pick on third down, if they blew a 10-point lead with 3.5 minutes to go against Cleveland last week. I thought Love had been playing really good football, throwing the ball down the field accurately, just really good football. You got to avoid those bad decisions. Like Green Bay should be a better team here than Dallas. I think they not only have the trench advantage when it comes to their defensive line, but I think the weakness of the Packers, that's where something's got to give here. It might be the difference in the game. The Packers' offensive line getting whooped last week against Cleveland.
Yeah.
Was that just because they played Cleveland, who is not only has Myles Garrett, but they're looking really strong across the board? Like this is the pillow fight that we always joke about, right? Bad offensive line against a bad defensive line. Dallas needs this to figure out, can we rush the passer against anyone? Because they've played Philadelphia, right? They've played, they should have got maybe a little more success against Chicago. Will they actually be able to get some pressure on Jordan Love?
That's the only way I think that Dallas has a shot in this game, is if their defensive line can suddenly wake up against a banged-up Green Bay offensive line and cause the kind of problems that they had last week. Now, they don't have a Myles Garrett. They don't have, the players that the Browns can deploy. But can they get enough pressure on Jordan Love to cause mistakes or to just simply cause inefficiency within the offense? If they can, I really don't see how this is close.
Sunday Night Football, they're going to have Chris and Mike. They're going to have some great graphics, some great stories. How did this all come about? We'll have the press conferences. We'll cut to Jerry from
Jerry quotes.
Lots of Jerry quotes. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not going to wait all day for this. I'm going to watch the other games first, but it'll be a really nice Sunday night viewing here.
Yeah.
Packers by 6.5 right now. Where are you going to go?
I'm going to go with Green Bay to win by more than a touchdown.
I am too. Dallas there was a point where they dominated at home when that defense was fierce, when they had Dan Quinn, they're forcing all that turnovers. They have not been the same team.
I also, by the way, feel like a motivated Micah Parsons is probably an issue. Like I wouldn't want to try block that guy if he was specifically pissed off at me.
Yeah, especially not when there's pretty clear. Packers are stunting as much as anyone, so it's not just a pure go beat the tackle every time.
They don't have anyone that can block him.
They're moving
nobody.
Him right. He's got the advantage against both tackles, but they're also moving him around. Yeah. They're rushing him over guards.
He can beat 4 of the 5 players on that offensive line easily every single snap.
And you can't just say double Micah Parsons because of what Green Bay is doing. And if you do double him on a given play, everyone else has stepped up.
Yeah.
Dogs are loose over here. So 12 pressure day.
12 pressure day.
From Micah Parsons.
I want to see all the sacks. As many sacks as he can rack up. That's funny. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?